Hey, it's October 17th, 2018. This is the previous Not Impossible podcast. Now it's the Greg Hansen podcast. I never do intros ever, but my super special guest is my super special friend. It's just my friend, my really, really, really good friend, bestest friend, NESComplex, Chris. What's up, dude?
Hi, Greg. It's such a pleasure to be on the Greg Hansen podcast.
Dude, you know what? I like having it where it's like two friends just talking. How many times do I call you and go, it's August 17th, 2018. I'm talking with my friend Chris.
Pretty much always.
Every time. 99% of the time, every time.
I mean, I used to think it was weird, but I'm getting used to it.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's been a little bit since we've talked on the phone, IRL. We're like texting buddies.
Well,
right?
We talked like a couple days ago.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I meant.
Does it feel like a long time?
It does feel like a long time.
It's
I've
like
had a busy
eternity,
schedule lately.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What is going on with your busy schedule?
I don't want to sound like a D-bag bro every time because...
What, you doing CrossFit?
No, that's over. What's good is, like, I thought I was doing that for... Remember I said I was going to do this for the rest of my life or a very long time, do CrossFit? And then, weirdly enough, we talked about it on the podcast, and then I stopped doing it.
That killed it.
There's so many
crap.
hated, like, awful tweets I got. I just had to stop.
No.
I was a victim of internet bullying.
Well, we better not talk about you eating then, because if you stop that, this could be bad.
Yeah, that's true. Intermittent fasting without the intermittent. You just... just too much.
Would that just be mitten fasting?
Kitten mittens.
What?
I don't know. It's Always Sunny, dude. I love
people.
Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Have you seen that show?
You've tried to push your propaganda on me, but I haven't seen it yet.
It is so gold. Did you try to watch it at least? It's one of those things where
one time
you don't because you know that I want you to.
No, man. I got my own things going on. I just haven't squeezed it in.
Okay. All right.
I'm sorry.
Well, it's a great show. I recommend it. It's a good like litmus test. How do you say that word? Litmus?
Litmus.
Yeah, litmus test for
I think
friends.
it's
Lithamith.
Lithmith. Yeah.
It's a great.
You got to say it with a lips.
It's a great litmus test for your friends. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Wow. So why do you watch that? Is it Danny DeVito?
It's all of them, man. It's the characters.
It's your. I mean, you've always had a slight fixation since Batman 2.
Dude, his butt crack goes all the way up to like the middle of his back. You know, that was a thing, like saying like, nah, dude, she's got the penguin butt crack. No?
What?
Okay,
no, I'm not.
Me
familiar
either
with
then.
this.
Me either. Like I'm with you. What you said.
Good.
Same sentiment. So I like that coffee mug. Chris is the only one. NESComplex is the only one that I do the podcast with over Skype because we're so far away from each other. I'm by Chicago.
You know what?
You're by LA. Are you more by LA or San Diego?
Oh, dude, I'm like 25 miles from LA.
Dang. There's so many
It's not
people
that
out there.
Yes, there are. Driving is a pain in the butt.
Are you guys having
Yeah.
that drought thing still with the water?
What the heck? That's screwed up.
Too soon?
You have a lot of corn?
Oh, wow. Wow, we're doing this then?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have corn. Want me to drive 2 minutes down the road?
Is it windy over there?
Yeah.
Are you doing that thing with the wind?
I'm gonna shuck some corn. It is windy in Chicago, which I'm not in.
Yeah. I hear it's a pretty windy location.
Anyway, I was talking real nice. How about we only do Skype? We're doing a video face-to-face podcast because we're great friends who live too far away from each other. Oh.
I need to turn on a light in front of me.
Why? Because you're...
Alexa, turn on corner.
Hey, check this out. Alexa, tell Roomba to vacuum the dining room. Isn't that awesome? Nothing happened.
Yeah. I know. You could say whatever you want. No one's going to know if it actually happened. Dude, I can't hear it. She's
coming.
2,000 miles away.
There's a vacuum cleaner coming over into my dining room. This was a mistake. This is sucks. Dumb. Here she comes. This is Cinnamon, my Roomba.
You named her Cinnamon?
Sinnamon.
That's not how you spell cinnamon.
Dude, she's come on.
I do hear her now. Oh my gosh.
She's in. Oh my. Cinnamon, I'm doing a podcast. Can you get out of... Oh, jeez. Honestly, she's embarrassing sometimes. I'm sending her home. End job. Return to home base. Okay, she's going back.
Well, this is riveting.
Sorry about that.
This is riveting talk.
Well, the intro was very unlike our normal conversations, and now we're to our... Cinnamon! I'm on a podcast! Sorry about her.
You're on it.
Well,
it's named
like
after
I'm on the
you.
phone.
Who named that anyway?
We need to come up with a new name. It's not undoable. Because I for legal reasons, I need to say undoable.
It's not impossible.
What?
Not
Bleep.
Impossible.
Bleep.
What if you just add like a triple negative? It's not impossible.
I can't, man. I think then it would have to be like in the courtroom determined, like, did I do it on purpose? Is it confusing to consumers or people to the brand?
Do you think that even fits the show at this stage?
No. What do you think?
What
fits?
is the show
Because it's
about?
just me talking with friends, and it's a lot of...
There you go.
The Cinnamon, she's emptying her base right now. Unbelievable.
See what you've done? I just wanted to shed some light on the subject, and you had to go vacuum the room and yell at inanimate objects.
She's not inanimate. She has a name. She's anthropomorphized. Did I say that right?
Yeah, just like your car and your arcade machines, and
yeah,
you've named everything in your house. It's not just a knife; it's Jennifer.
I don't know what you're talking about. So let's get back to. I'm gonna rein it in. The name for the podcast, because this is too narcissistic, and I don't think that I am narcissistic. The Greg Hansen podcast. I mean, it is a name fitting for me talking with all of my friends about life, the universe, anything, yelling at your vacuum cleaners, anything.
Greg Possible. It's good. Like Kim Possible.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna see.
No?
Nothing fits. Like, what would you call something where you just talk with your friends about stuff?
Actually, I think you should just stick with the Greg Hansen podcast. Pretty soon, you're going to be Joe Rogan. Call it the Greg Hansen
funny enough,
experience.
That's exactly what I was going for.
Well, you're going to have to shave your head. You need more tattoos, and you need to book Neil Tyson deGrasse.
Yep. You said that exactly right.
Or Mike Tyson, his brother.
You know,
I think they're not really related.
And I don't want to put you on the spot, not like we're being recorded or anything, but can you help me with my thumbnails for Arcade Impossible videos? Just like episode 15 through 27, which is coming out Friday.
I refuse to do 15 because I already did.
Did you?
But 16 through 27, so just 11 thumbnails?
Just 11? I mean, I didn't edit any of those. David, like, Gamer Going Gray, like, crushed it.
There's 11 at 20 minutes each.
Yeah.
It's like 200.
It's like $1 an hour.
220 minutes. Let's see. That's like 4 hours. Mm-hmm. So 4 hours to watch them, to know what's in them.
Yeah.
To make the thumbnails.
You don't have to watch them. I can give you a synopsis, like summary,
Cliff
Notes, Arcade Impossible Cliff Notes.
Okay, if you give me a synopsis.
Pick one, and I got the Cliff Notes for you. Any of them. I won't even know what. I don't even know what happened in 17.
Well, you'll see the title, and it will all like rush back to you.
So I made a intro bumper ad for the Greg Hansen podcast for the next episode of Arcade Impossible, which is currently up on Patreon, and it'll be up. I
saw something about that.
Yeah, it'll be up on the YouTube. It's already uploaded and scheduled for Friday at 8 a.m. It'll be released Central.
And this will come out on Monday?
This will come out Monday, so people listening maybe are just catching it, or people will be listening to this one if they're coming from that episode, from that.
Okay,
ad.
okay.
Yeah. It's
Very
okay.
cool.
I just did some 3 or 4 different snippets of like 5 to 10 seconds or 5 seconds-ish of just funny stuff said. It's really random, but then I said, like, if you want to stay all updated with all things, I think I said Greg and crew.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't want to call people crew, but
make it like a band, like Greg Hansen and
the Funky Bunch,
or the
Greg Hansen 5,
the Symbiotic Twins.
I like it.
Oh man, there's something in this water.
There is some. So enough about the podcast and talking about it. What's up?
There's a hidden structure.
What's up with you?
You really don't want to open that can of worms. I know I'm on this podcast, but I know you really want to know.
Yeah, I know you're putting out episodes pretty regularly.
Not anymore.
So you dropped it.
I haven't put one out for about 6 weeks.
No, has it been that long?
Yeah.
So you did it every week for at least a month.
I did it every other week for 4.5 months.
Dang.
Yeah, no.
And you put out great content, man. What's cool is that's out there forever. So you should be proud of what you did.
That is true, unless it gets flagged for copyright violation, which, is possible.
It's still out in the ether, at the internet forever. It's like, even if it's deleted from YouTube, it still exists.
You can help me hack it to get it.
Hack the planet. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, I mean, I'm not done, but I needed to take a break. I was really just doing too much. And, the hardest thing about YouTube, honestly, isn't making the videos. It's this is a weird thing to say because obviously it's not everybody, but it's people. Mm-hmm. I have a hard time with all the necessary interactions. I'm not talking about regular, just people that watch it.
You're talking about like collaborations? You're talking about social interaction with commenters?
There's some of that. So there's some of the stuff where the things people say just... I know the psychology behind it, and it shouldn't get to me, but it does get to me sometimes. There's that. There's, all the collaborations. I feel like it's hard to maintain it.
It's a poor form of communication, right? Like
it is.
What you and I are doing right now, which I wish we were doing face to face, but this is the best that we can do. This is real talk. No. So all he was doing was cheersing me with his coffee mug. Cheers, bud.
Cheers. Dink. So yeah, you're right. I mean, this is a better form of communication.
It is.
But I'm talking about some just controversial type stuff to say, but it's just true. Mm-hmm. Some people are very full of themselves.
Yeah, and I guess that's true in any social interaction with life, right? Like people you have to deal with, you're going to have all aspects, like the full gambit of personalities. And
that's absolutely
where
true.
Do you put your attention and focus? Where do you put your energy?
You're absolutely right.
It's so easy to say, well, just don't give them any time of day energy, but it's not that easy sometimes. It still sucks sometimes. I got you.
Yeah. People wanting to collab, and I don't have enough time to do that with everybody. And then, conventions are tough. Just sometimes I'm really disappointed with people.
Yeah.
Who they present themselves to be and who they really are.
Right.
And so, it's just a combination of things. I just needed to take a break from all the constant editing. I mean, I have a day job and I work
I know
full
that,
time,
man.
so.
As someone who completely quit editing, I understand.
Right. Yeah. Can you imagine coming home from work and then,
No.
editing for several hours a day? And then, I obviously, I enjoy the final product, and I like games. I like the hobby, and I like most people.
Yeah. Dude, you're a super
It's
nice
just-
person. And people like you. So it's bullshit when you have to deal with people like that.
Yeah.
You're too
So
good
I
for
just
that.
need to step back for a little bit, and it's good because it's giving me a chance to kind of ramp up again, and I've got a lot of things like in mid production.
Mm-hmm.
So when I finally do come like out of this brief unspoken hiatus, when I come back, I'll have a lot of fresh content again. So
That's awesome, man. And just think of it like you're building a library, right? You're doing things you enjoy,
Right.
and it's freaking great. Like,
well, it's like a TV show too. Even the best shows, they have to take a break and
yeah,
spend some time writing.
Game of Thrones took an extra year. You know,
Crazy.
hold the door and stuff.
Yeah.
Hold the door.
I don't know about the long-term viability of it, though, too. It's something that I think concerns a lot of people on YouTube.
Yeah,
But if you think about some of the longest-running TV shows in history, they only go so long.
true. Like
And to
6 years is a long time for a show.
absolutely, and yet already, a lot of people on YouTube have been at it for more than 6 years.
Yeah.
And they're still growing. But I have to think there's going to be a point when just like a TV show, the ratings drop. They move on to someone new, younger.
And I guess if that's your
Somewhat more
metric for doing it, right, it's like your ratings, right? I don't know.
Well, that's not why I'm doing it. That's for sure. But
No.
for people that have made this their career, I mean, if a wonderful show like Friends can't last forever,
Mm-hmm.
You see shows like Walking Dead that dominated, that's getting like half the ratings it did a year ago.
Yeah.
They can't last forever. So how can something as like super popular as that rapidly decline and not happen to people on
It's attention
YouTube?
span, and I think it's like the oversaturation of media in our life. Like
That is true.
we're hit all the time with distractions. Like we're trained to be ADD, it seems like. And
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just enjoying what you do. I've learned to not beat myself up over things. Like I was like, I gotta get back to videos and do this. But now I just do what I like to do. It's still a struggle sometimes, but I'm just doing things and being very deliberate, right, with my time.
Yep.
And I really enjoy it. And I edited the short, even though it's not anything special, it's still editing. I did music, I did a voiceover, and I did 3 or 4 clips with different pictures for like that 30-second podcast bumper ad. And I was like, cool, I did some editing. I installed Premiere and all that. And I was like, I remember this world.
You didn't even have Premiere on your computer?
No.
Wow.
I had reformatted a month or two ago, though. Yeah, reformat grind. So, dude, do you have not to switch it up a bit? Do you want to talk at all about YouTube anymore before I change the subject?
Nah.
Do you have a Nintendo Switch?
I do. To switch it up. Nice. I had a feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
What color are your Joy-Cons? I don't want to get too personal. Because that's me. Okay.
Did you switch those out?
No.
What?
Wait, I did.
Green?
Yeah, green is what's different. Because I bought 2
What's it
extra
from?
Joy-Cons for 4-player Mario Party and Mario Kart. Yeah.
What was the green one from? Is that
There's a
is that
green
just-
and a pink that came in another Joy-Con kit.
and then you had the red and blue.
Yeah, it's a red or an orange and blue kind of thing.
Yeah. I just have gray.
Dude, I love the Switch. As someone
Really?
who now I'm really deliberate with my time, like I think I talked about this on the last episode, is I come home and I do my thing, like I work out, whatever, and study and get all of my stuff done. And then now I'm trying to learn to sight read on piano. That's 10 minutes a night, very deliberate, 10-minute timer. That's completely focused. Play, done. And then this thing, right? Like you hit the power button on the Switch and you're exactly where you were. I was playing Dead Cells. I click, and I'm in the game. Boom, boom, boom. Like
it is pretty crazy.
I'm playing and I'm talking to you and I'm like, wait, I'm doing a podcast. Rude. Hit the power button. Super rude. And now, like, that's perfect for adult gaming where you don't have so much time. Like on the weekend, I can sit down at the PS4 and play an hour or two, whatever. But the Switch is just great for that 5-minute session. Like, if you know you're going to poop for a long time, just take your Switch with you.
Yeah, or a quick, if you need a quick sesh. Turbo. No, definitely that. I mean, those are the things that are appealing about it. I do feel like the promise for this year has been a little bit disappointing. I think really for me at least disappointing because of Pokemon.
What happened with Pokemon?
I know a lot of people are excited about it, but well, after Breath of the Wild sort of reinvented Zelda or went back to the basics and eliminated kind of the fluff and just.
Is it good?
Zelda?
Breath of the Wild? I kind of refuse to play it for some reason.
Is it good? What,
is it fun? Is it fun?
I don't know, but I'm not doing any thumbnails if you can't even.
You're not going to do a thumbnail. I'll pay you.
And then Mario Odyssey does the same thing, right?
I never shipped you the what card game is that?
Dominion
holders.
Yeah,
because
I thought maybe
I had the sleeves
and
I was like, oh. And then I didn't ship them.
Did you make it?
They're right here, the stack, right next to mine, printed. And they're empty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, dude, that'd be great.
Well, now I might as well just wait till.
I see what you're doing.
What?
No thumbnails. No 3D printed card trays.
Yeah. Guess who has the upper hand in this deal? I wish I was that deliberate and manipulative. I'm not.
Oh, yeah. Just kidding. But like this, after that first year of success with the Switch, like you see Zelda and Mario both getting that sort of back to basics, boiling it down to what really is great.
Is Mario good?
Lemon. Okay, you know what? What do you even do? You don't actually play it. You just like go through.
Bro, I play
tiles.
Real games, not like baby toys. I play Dead Cells and The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth, and Dark Souls is pre-ordered and it comes out Friday.
Well, you're not playing it though.
Mega Man's 11.
Mega Man's 11?
Yeah, it's pluralized. And then Axiom Verge, Shovel Knight. Hold on. Stand by.
Good stuff.
Another World.
Did you get The Messenger?
I never played Another World all the way through. I'm actually stuck. Can you help me with Another World? So when you...
Have you played The Messenger?
I have it on there and I love it.
Okay,
My buddy Daz. Shout out Daz in Australia. I love you, Darren. I miss him. Anyway, sorry. The Messenger. Why didn't you tell me about it?
I don't know. I don't know.
We don't talk.
We were probably
games.
not talking. We weren't talking at that time. We haven't talked games a lot, actually. We talk about real things.
We talk about life.
Things
and my relationships.
Podcast friendly. I know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Things happen.
It's better than taking up the bottle.
That's true. And I want the best coffee you have.
Yeah. So I have been totally fascinated with something. Is it okay if I switch gears?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I've been totally fascinated with something. It started because I was teaching, I teach history, and I was talking to them about how it's not very far back that we all have common ancestors.
True.
Like it's very recent.
Because there was a time that we were like down to a few thousand humans, right?
Eight
humans?
Yeah.
We're
but
inbred
that's another story.
AF.
Hold
All
on.
right, sorry.
No, actually, well, everyone's inbred.
True. Have to be.
So, like, if you have 2 parents and 4 grandparents and 8 it doubles every generation. And that doubling, it gets big fast. So,
Sure.
500 years ago, you have over 1 million people. 500 years ago, there's over 1 million. That seems impossible. But if a generation is, say, 25 years, it's true. 500 years ago, there's 1 million people that were related to you. And you go back 25 more years, now it's 2 million, 4 million, 8 million, 16 million. It doubles so fast. By the time you get to like the 1st century, I don't know if you realize this, like, you know how many people were on the planet in the 1st century?
What's the first, like the up to
Like
year 1000?
0. The year 1. There's no year 0. No, the year 1.
Year 1. How many people? I'm gonna go with 3 million, Alex.
Okay, there were actually 100 million.
Oh, way off. I should
But
said
in the
Bob.
entire planet, 100 million.
That's nothing.
It is nothing. I mean, the United States has close to 350 million at this point. So
What are we? 80 times that now? Something like that. Yeah, 100
the
times.
planet?
Yeah, because 10 times billion times 80.
Would that be 8,000? No, I don't know. Yeah, some 8.
Because every
I don't
100,
know.
10
It
times
can't be-
100 million is a billion, and we have 8 billion, so 80. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so 80 times.
Dang.
But that population ramp has gone up quick. So anyway, I was thinking about this, like how that happened so quick. And if you go backward even further, if in the past 2,000 years we went from 100 million to 7 point something billion,
Yeah.
go back another 1,000 years, and another 1,000 years, there weren't very many people, like very few people.
Wow.
So, okay, I was thinking about that. And then, just all the overlap, like, it without a doubt. My mom's maiden name is Hansen. Without a doubt, you and I are related, and it's not even that far back. I wouldn't be surprised if it's within the past 300 years or less.
So we are cousins of some sort?
Well, everybody is related. And
We're
it's-
all
again,
cousins.
it's
It's just
not
a
far
matter of
back.
how far separated.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so then I started researching it, and I don't know if you've heard of the whole scientific atom or mitochondrial Eve thing. Have you heard of that?
No, I don't think so.
So whenever a man has a boy, they pass on a Y chromosome,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the Y chromosomes every once in a while will have mutations that are like markers. So you pass those mutations on every generation. So once a marker is set, it will be passed down even like 1,000 years from now. The markers that you pass down,
Dang.
those people 1,000 years from now, you'll be able to
We
tell
all
that they're
pass
related
these
to
markers?
you. Yes.
Okay.
Men pass it to men,
Mm-hmm.
to their sons in the Y chromosome. Women, from what we can tell, in every cell there's mitochondria that helps break down, and reassemble DNA and everything. So mitochondrial DNA is passed from a mother. So your mitochondrial DNA, from all we can tell, is absolutely completely just from your mom.
Okay.
And women pass that, specifically that can be traced from woman to woman to woman. Well, there are certain markers, though, that are found on every single woman. Every single mitochondrial DNA share certain markers. And people have gone well out of their way to the vast corners of the earth to
They can't find
to
someone who
see.
does not have it.
Right. Everyone has it.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with men. There is a common ancestor that
Dang.
we all share. It is very weird. It's weird.
That's the Adam and Eve thing then, right?
It is Adam and Eve. So they call him scientific Adam, and they call her mitochondrial Eve. Obviously, people aren't willing to actually say this is Adam and Eve.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just really interesting. So I got all crazy into genetics and stuff. And okay, so here's where it's gonna get trippy. And I know a lot of people are gonna be like,
No, it's all right.
are
We're a
you-
pretty
are you
open
on-
bunch, the Greg
are you on
Hansen
something?
podcast listeners.
Are you on something? So I was trying to understand how races happen. Why is it that people look different?
Mm-hmm.
if we do have common ancestors and not that far back,
It's environmental, right?
Different? Well, I think that there is a combination of things. When people, so like there's one, the basic model is that out of Africa, people started migrating out of Africa. And as they left, they formed pockets just that were cut off. That gene pool was then cut off from other people.
Yeah.
And when anything, any kind of copy mistake, because when you have a kid, you actually are sending all of your DNA. Of course, it's mixing with whoever the other DNA donor is.
Yeah.
But you pass copy mistakes.
Yeah.
Your DNA has 3 billion base pairs. So the information in every single nucleus of every cell in your body has DNA, which can be stretched out over 3 feet. It's between 3 and 6 feet long, but it's so tightly packed. And it's got 3 billion pieces of code in it.
Whoa.
But when you have a kid, it's between 60 and 100 mutations are passed down. And that happens every time. Every generation, 60 to 100 mutations. And these aren't good, usually. Usually information is being lost. And so what seems to happen is like when that information's lost, then you marry someone else, you pass it down within that gene pool. Since it's cut off from other gene pools, certain mutations are further emphasized.
And is that part of inbreeding why that's so bad, right? Because you're
It
not
is.
diversifying the genes.
You're keeping the mistakes.
Okay.
And this, you see this with dogs in particular, because like a poodle is a really good example of this. People bred this thing until they have a poodle, and the poodle has a list of problems longer than your arm. Like a poodle's hair will not stop growing. Most dogs or whatever, it grows to a certain length.
Yeah.
They shed, it grows to a certain length. You don't have to have them cut all the time. But a poodle has a mutation where it's like detrimental. If this thing was alive in the wild, it'd be tripping on its hair.
So
its hair would be getting in its eyes.
Freak.
It's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Well, this is basically what was happening to people too, where like in Europe, for example, since that where we're from, we've got these light eyes and light skin. We have lost information. You cannot give a brown-eyed gene. It's gone. You cannot give a darker skin gene. It's gone.
So is this why homogeneous cultures look the same, right? Because they're just...
It's because the copying mistakes that are passed down are further emphasized as people marry each other. Those mistakes no new information is brought into the system. Only the copying mistakes are brought in.
Even though it's not directly inbreeding, it's not as beneficial to have two of the same race of people
Definitely not.
Okay.
No, because any mistakes that are shared will definitely be passed on.
Mm-hmm.
And this is true, like, what's interesting is the further you get away from the cradle of civilization, like Mesopotamia, the more extreme it is. So in the middle parts, like in India and Arabia, the genes are much more like the alleles that each person contributes to the offspring are much more diverse. So, I've seen like an Indian couple that has like a lighter skinned kid with lighter eyes and a darker skin, and it's the same couple, but they have very light skin and dark skin in the same family, eating at the same dinner table. But you won't find that with Europe because the darker skin gene is gone. It's eliminated. We can't produce it. And in the deeper parts of Africa where it's been cut off, there's a lot of biodiversity still, but dark skin is all that's available. So I don't believe in races, actually. I think there's one race, the human race. I think that there are people groups and cultures.
Yeah.
But I think we come from the same source, and in a relatively short time, by reinforcing the mutations, it's eliminated information.
That's super interesting. So the common diseases and issues that come with specific races, that's because of that loss of information and mutation.
It's a loss of information. And sometimes that loss of information was beneficial, like, in sickle cell anemia, for example. Mosquitoes would bite people in Africa, and they would give them malaria.
Mm-hmm.
But some people, their genes, they had a mutation that did not produce certain elements in the blood. And I don't know if they were just not as tasty to mosquitoes, or if the malaria wouldn't affect them the same way. But that mutation, which protected them from malaria, so they tended to live, it also gave them problems with iron. However, exactly sickle cell anemia affects their absorption in the blood. It's not a good thing.
No, and I was actually going to mention malaria. That as like one of my examples of sickle cell. That's crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. But you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And the reason why I said this is really controversial is because it means that you and I having blue eyes is not a genetic step up. It's not like we're evolving. Oh, we have blue eyes, we're evolving. It's actually, we cannot have this anymore. We've lost information.
Yeah, we're more basic.
we are.
Huh.
Some people theorize that blonde hair is only about 1,000 years old.
Wow.
And it only came from the northest north that you in like.
So
do
we know what the most classic, not lost information human looks like?
Well, if you take things like eye color or skin color, and it's the person with the absolute most diversity.
Mm-hmm.
So, in the classic eye color thing, you have like a capital B and a lowercase b, right? Where capital B's would be brown eyes, they're dominant, and lowercase b's are recessive. Someone who has a capital B and a lowercase b, they have the information in their genes to have a brown-eyed kid or a blue-eyed kid.
So they're better.
They have more information.
Yeah.
But you and I only can pass a blue-eyed gene. That's it. We've become limited.
So
we've lost it.
If my wife has blue eyes,
then you will 100%
blue-eyed
have
kids.
A variation of light eyes. Yeah.
Maybe green, but blue, kind of.
Yeah.
No browns.
Probably blue. Brown, as far as I can tell. I know it's a little more complicated than...
Unless there's a crazy mutation to get that, which is super rare, right? And that's how you get entropy in evolution, right? Because you get a random brown-eyed person and they diversify and keep going. But yeah.
Yeah. So all this DNA stuff, though, when I started thinking about 3 billion base pairs, I got like really deep into this. It became very fascinating.
Well, yeah, it is.
When I started thinking about what that really means.
Mm-hmm.
So your DNA, I forget what it's called. There's some sort of globule thing in your cell that latches onto the DNA and rides along it, and it unzips the ladder of the double helix. And as it does that, it reads that part of the molecule.
Yeah.
DNA is G, T, A, and C. There's the 4 possible things. I know. I hope this isn't boring to everyone.
No, dude,
but I'm just super fascinated.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So as this thing sweeps by, it reads that particular combination of letters, and as it goes across, other parts in the cell bring to it the corresponding letters to create. So like let's say it's G, T, A, it'll bring the opposite letters, as DNA always links with the opposite letter. It brings the opposite letters, and using that 3-letter combination, it will create a single amino acid. And then it moves over, and it reads the next 3, and it brings a different amino acid. And as it does this, it's assembling strands of protein. And it spits out amino acid. They're linking, and then it forms proteins in the cell. So this is happening right now in your body billions of times at this very second. They're ripping it apart, reading the code, translating it into a protein.
I feel it.
And it's more complicated than that. It's insane because not only does it make the protein, it makes it in a 3-dimensional shape.
Wow.
It actually has pauses. Protein is not just a string. It's a shape. It's a 3D printer.
Wow.
So you have information in your body And these little things that are reading the information in order to make the proteins in a three-dimensional shape so that they will fit with other things in order to make your body function. It's like creating keys.
What are your sources
That's
for all this? Like, what have you been studying?
Look it up.
Just
YouTube.
everywhere, right?
I'm just watching scientists give lectures and stuff.
Wow.
It's insane.
That's awesome.
3 billion letters. If those were written on pages, just the letters written on pages, one scientist said that it would create a stack of papers 350 feet tall. And that's in every cell in your body.
3 billion per cell?
Every strand of DNA has 3 billion base pairs. So every cell has your entire DNA in it.
It has all my DNA in one cell? The whole, like,
every cell.
Greg recipe?
The very specific information that makes you exactly who you are, why you don't like certain foods and do like others.
Can you build an entire person off of one cell? Off that DNA copy?
Yeah, that's what cloning is. They try
Just
to
one
take
cell,
that DNA and insert it into the stem cells.
And replicate from there.
But
because that's what we start out, right? It's just a couple cells keep replicating, or one cell keep replicating.
Yeah, you start off so the DNA gets shuffled. You get half from your mom and half from your dad, but that particular combination,
right? That's unique every time.
Makes you different because there's so many letters. This is another weird, crazy thing. 2 human beings having kids, they could have the number of possible combinations when you take 3 billion and 3 billion. That's like a 3 billion factorial. That means 3 billion times 2,999,999,999 times 2 billion, one less. That's
a
insanity.
very, very large number.
And
I want to know if that's
calculated.
larger. Yeah, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
It's actually calculated that if it were possible, if you could live long enough, you would have more genetically different kids just with one couple than there are atoms in the universe.
I was going to say, what is that number? It's larger than a Google.
A lot.
Right? Easy.
It's insane. No,
Googleplex? Because we talked about this, me and Party Mike talked about Googleplex and the freaking, like, the crazy numbers. Like 10 to the 80th, what is that? Atoms in the universe? That's the number?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 10 to the 80th or something, so 80 zeros, which is way more than
well, Google's 100.
I don't know, is that a Googleplex?
100 zeros.
100,
Googleplex is to the power
million?
of Google. So, which is to the power of 100. In my mind.
So that's just
gone.
not a real thing. That's just, I mean, if there's not that many
big.
atoms in the universe. Nah. Yeah. So we're really complicated. And that's just humans.
Mm-hmm.
Like every animal, every creature.
There's too much math now. I feel like I can never be calm again. I just feel it all.
Oh, dude, it shouldn't be like that. It should amaze you.
No, it does amaze me. It's
like when you think about things on the level of astronomy, or as small as the molecular level, and the complexity of both. No matter how big you get or how small you get, how complicated it is, I don't think the point is to actually have the number.
I wish I could
I think the point is just to be amazed.
You know the movie, what's the movie where you go and shrunk down to the size of a cell in the 80s? Inner Space.
I just wish
Honey, I
could
Shrunk
be
the Kids.
with
I wish
Meg
I could be
Ryan
shrunk
at that
down
point.
to a Planck unit and just kind of observe without being completely destroyed.
You just want to be in Martin Short's snot.
And then
Just admit
slowly be able to observe the power of that scale, that unit, up until it's something that I'm used to, up until my size again. Like slowly, like take Planck scale to how big I am right now and let that happen over the course of an hour to be able to experience that.
That's really not that slow. I think that would feel pretty fast.
That feels super fast, right?
Yeah.
Okay, over the course of 24 hours. Planck scale to me. 24, and I can adjust
slow,
the
like
speed
5
of
minutes.
different areas. I'm not asking for a lot here.
This is called Ant-Man.
I haven't seen it. But yeah, I wonder about that.
It's always sunny.
And what do
in
you
Ant-Man.
think about? I mean, we have a lot of the mathematics to explain the bigger parts of physics in the universe, but the quantum mechanics part of it that really doesn't make sense. You have any thoughts on that? Like, do you ever think about that stuff or research it at all?
My guess is that there is logic to it. We just haven't. We don't understand all the parts.
Exactly. We're exponentially discovering more things in technology.
Yeah, it might seem uncertain, but it's that there's something just we don't have all the pieces.
You're always
yet.
uncertain until you're certain.
Yeah. It's amazing how, like, again, as a history teacher, I was talking to my students about Galileo and how everyone in the world, everyone in academia believed that the sun went around the earth.
Narcissists.
And if you oppose that, like, they burned people at the stake for opposing that.
So I hate in history how you have just this groupthink mob mentality. You're not with us, you're against us. Let's kill for no reason, no respect for life. Is the most frustrating
You don't think
thing.
that happens now?
No. It does. But it's the most. I hate it so much. And I'm watching a show right now called The Handmaid's Tale. You know anything about that? It's basically a dystopian future, Puritan style, like just the United States. It's just Puritan locked down by his light. Like they're just basically brainwashing people, and only they have handmaids that can they're the only ones who can breed anymore. The rest of the population in the world can't. And the amount of like brainwashing and physical and like murder, and it's all in the name of this kind of fake religion, kind of Puritanism, weird Orwellian almost. And it makes me so mad because I hate like Salem witch, like everything where it's just like, you're not with us, or this, we don't understand, so obviously you're the outlier. Let's just kill this person. No value for life. It makes me depressed for all of the history that's happened, right? Because it's happened a lot. And it just shows that we're not that intelligent, that kind of mentality.
And you know what? But I think one misnomer is that it's done, a lot of times it's blamed on religion, but the truth is every group that's in power does that.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if they're religious or not.
True. I guess that's the one that's cited the most.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, it is. But I think that, of course it's easy to beat on religion, but all through history, whoever is in power, they assert their worldview. Call it a religion, or if you want, but Hitler was no Christian. No. He called God a tyrant, and he said that it was the worst thing that ever happened in human history, that Christianity began from the Jew.
Wow.
So he's no Christian, and that's exactly what he did. When you were describing that, he actually had a group of women and men that he used to breed, not for himself, but he had people had to apply. And he found perfect men and women in his paradigm.
And little did he know they didn't have good information to copy on.
I know. He was very wrong.
AF.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it would have, if his 1,000-year Reich had happened, he would have started getting weird little mutant, inbred, screwed up people.
Yeah. For sure.
Hitler. What a jerk.
There was this joke that I heard, and it's not an awful taste. It's wow, I'm gonna ruin it now. But anyway, it's like they say
you better get it right, dude.
I'm not now, but it's not even. I just thought it was good. It's like they said to Hitler, "I bet I know." The day you die is the worst thing ever. The day you die is gonna be a holiday.
I heard something.
Can you fix it? What I just did?
Well, I heard something where it said, "Oh
This
gosh,
is great.
no, Well, you actually know. I'm trying to remember something vaguely.
Mm-hmm. Well,
It was something like how bad Hitler was, but the best thing he ever did was kill Hitler.
true.
He did the world a favor, because you know what Hitler did? The best thing he did, he killed Hitler. Are you looking it up?
No. I think I did it enough
Yes, you
justice.
totally
I think I
were.
did enough justice. I'll leave that one alone.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah, it's a real knee slapper.
Tell it again. Wait, can you tell it again?
Sure.
I want to get it
Yeah,
down.
so this guy said to Hitler, I bet I can tell you when the Jewish holiday for getting rid of you, the Jewish holiday is when you die.
Dude, you need
It's
to
the
put out
day
a
you die
comedy
will
album.
be a Jewish holiday. Thanks, everybody, for coming out.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah, I'm thinking about trying stand up.
Well,
I didn't say
you may have
succeeding.
to
I
sit
said
down
trying.
for it. Oh, right.
Oh my god.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how to segue out of this because I did my joke and then we talked about a lot of great stuff. You brought a lot to the table. And thank you.
Dude, there's so much.
What else you got
more.
that's really interesting? Because I sent you that really historically accurate history of the world last night. And it was a YouTube video that was very...
That was so not historically accurate.
It just started with...
Like I said, the part that was written history was very accurate. But the other stuff, we have to be honest, man. People don't know.
It's theoretical, right? The Big Bang part up to that. I liked it, though.
We have written history, and then we have a lot of assumptions.
Mm-hmm.
We have things we can observe right now, and then we have to make some guesses based on that about what happened in the past. Yeah. And ultimately, we all have the same evidence in front of us, and we're trying to understand how it fits. We're trying to make a model where it all fits. You know, when they were thinking that the sun was going around the earth, this guy Ptolemy, he looked up there and he's like, no, these planets are moving weird. It's like they go out and then they come back. Like, what the heck's going on? And so he created this system where, like, planets were rotating around the earth, but in their rotation, they were going in a big circle around that. So it was almost like the teacups at Disneyland or something.
Yeah.
So the circle itself is going around. So he came up with this weird model to try to account for what
his confirmation bias. Like, this is what I believe. Let's prove it.
Yeah. It looks like it. This is what I believe. And so I got to make it fit. Mm-hmm. And people do that all the time, even now.
Yeah.
And so there was a discovery that I bet you haven't even heard about. And many people haven't. But this blows my mind, and it's yet to be explained. If you look up a scientist named Dr. Mary Schweitzer, I believe it was 2005 or maybe 2007, she had a piece of Tyrannosaurus bone, mm-hmm. and she did a cross-section of it and was soaking it in something to remove the mineral in the bone. It would dissolve the mineral.
Okay.
When she was done, it left soft tissue, blood cells.
I have heard about this.
And capillaries. Mm-hmm. And that makes no sense. There's no way that could survive for 65 million years. Yeah. And so even though she... You know, she's an evolutionist and everything, but people aren't happy about this, and they kind of want her to shut up.
How so?
They don't talk about it. They won't carbon date this tissue because they're afraid it's going to come back like thousands of years instead of millions. They won't carbon date it.
Are you serious? It's still a thing?
I'm dead serious. It's absolutely a thing, but it's being pushed aside because it doesn't fit the model.
What? Yeah.
And they've done this multiple times. At this point, soft tissue has been found in more than 40 specimens, Triceratops,
So we have the real
Hadrosaurus.
DNA, right? And we can.
It's not DNA.
No?
The DNA is a very fragile molecule.
Okay.
And it's broken. It's not so far not recoverable.
So what does it do for us with the soft tissue?
Well, soft tissue cannot last long. It tells us that the timing is wrong.
Is the timing wrong, or is it stored in a way that she was soaking it in what?
It's something that dissolves the mineral.
So the soft tissue was embedded within the mineral. Maybe it does last that long in there. Nah.
It doesn't, though. No, because the idea behind a fossil is that
True.
like the bacteria ate away all the flesh.
Yeah.
That's why there's no flesh left on the thing.
That's why it's left imprinted in a
and
rock.
And then the bones, according to what science has always said, is that the bones are actually then replaced by minerals as time goes by. Even if there was that tissue, the longest it could last, even in a laboratory where they're like trying to make it last, the longest they could imagine it would last is about 900,000 years.
So what you're saying
in
is
ideal conditions,
50,000 years ago, dinosaurs maybe?
What I'm saying is way more controversial than that, dude.
No, I'm ready. I want to hear this.
Are you?
You heard it here first.
Dude, I know. See, so like I grew up and I had the little dinosaur books, and they say 65 million years ago, and
the eras and all
this
that.
stuff.
Yep.
I know this stuff sounds like weird controversy, like I'm some sort of conspiracy guy.
No, I want to be open-minded. We are not.
I'm a historian.
Exactly.
And I see some really weird things in history, like Alexander the Great, in his journals about him doing what he does. He writes about how he fought this group of people, and then he went and he had to kill this dragon, and then he goes over here and fights this other people. It's just like mentioned in passing, like no big deal. I killed a dragon.
Yeah.
Now, when you hear the word dragon, you think of like fire-breathing mythical creature. Yeah. But if there were dinosaurs that were still alive, even just a few, and they didn't have the word dinosaur yet. Mm-hmm. They had a name. What did they call it? Well, there are tons of creatures that are constantly recurring, names that recur, that like we don't know what the heck they are because they don't exist anymore. Mm-hmm. Like we're facing a world right now where the Asian elephant is going to be gone in 100 years. If we don't stop it, it will be gone. And if people 500 years from now found these bones of an Asian elephant, they might say, well, this is really old. What the heck? We've never seen an Asian elephant before. Right. Do you write about it all the time? Like, it's just kind of assumed. Like, but the people back then, there are so many instances where a knight, historically recorded, a knight, like the church was sainting people for killing a dragon in the town. Mm-hmm. Like, these aren't written up like myths. They're written up like actual events. Like, there's this lizard-like creature that is attacking the city, and you need to kill it.
Sounds like a dinosaur.
It really does. And when Marco Polo went to China, in his book about his travels, which, I teach about Marco Polo, and I never talk about this stuff with my students, but in his book, he talks about how he saw a giant lizard creature, which he called a dragon, that had 3 claws and 2 little arms.
Why don't you talk about this with your students? I know it's controversial, but
that's why.
You should be exposing different opinions, but would that like expose you professionally or something?
Well, because like I said, I think that some of this stuff is so controversial that it is an attack on the accepted belief.
Yeah, but I think we should be open to having a discussion about it, right?
We should.
It's not like,
but
I can't
it's
talk
not
about it, right?
It's not open. It's not open.
We should be able to talk about anything.
Look,
if you can present some kind of evidence or even a theory or a hypothesis, something we can test even would be great.
But if dinosaurs were alive at the same time as people, what would that do to evolution?
What would it do?
Like,
I don't know.
Well, it messes it up.
Sure. Let's get it right. I'm all for it.
But that's not the way people that have built their entire career off this think. That's messing up their career. If they're wrong,
they can adapt and they still have skills. Come on.
They can evolve.
We'll get them universal basic income and they can just do their thing.
Right.
They don't need to be useful anymore.
Yeah.
They're wrong.
Look, I know this is crazy stuff, but I mean, so you have like actual soft tissue in dinosaur bones, and you have written accounts of people fighting in multiple places all over the world. Europe and China are not like next door neighbors, especially not back then. And they both have accounts of dragons, of lizard creatures. And then you have other things like depictions, drawings, paintings.
We have pictures.
Cave paintings. Yeah, there are cave paintings of like a long-necked dinosaur and people around it in a circle with spears up. Like they're
Is
trying
there
to
any
kill
paintings of Triceratops or anything like that?
Stegosaurus. There is a temple
That was my
in
favorite
Cambodia.
dinosaur, by the way.
Stegosaurus? Yeah, so in Cambodia, there is a temple where it's got all these reliefs of different animals, and one of those animals, dude, it looks spitting image of a Stegosaurus. It's called Angkor Wat.
Okay.
Is the temple.
I don't want to sound like I don't have conviction, but I am 100% on board with dinosaurs being like relatively recent, and I'm going to look up all the pictures of dinosaurs that are recent.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to print them out and put them up on my wall at work and tell everybody.
The pictures that are recent, like if you look up a video on YouTube, they'll show these very clearly, CG crappy videos. But what do you do about like a guy who died in the 1500s, and around his grave they put brass strips, like ornamentation around his tomb? He was buried in a cathedral.
Mm-hmm.
And on those brass strips, you have two long-necked dinosaurs with their necks intertwined. And it's been there for all this time.
What?
It's wearing away, but they're there. And if you show any 5-year-old and ask them, what is that? They'll say,
Sure, it's not like
that's a sauropod.
Snakes.
Well, if they're snakes, they got that big belly and 4 legs that they're walking on. Like, I'm telling you, the number of these instances, I think people have never heard of it. I think it's too threatening to the system, and I think it's a Galileo situation. When Galileo proved that the Earth was going around the sun, he set up a telescope and pointed it at Jupiter, and he was going to show people the proof. The scientists who looked through there refused to see it. They would look in there, and they're like, I can't see it. And he would look, and he's like, yeah, it's right there. Look at it again. They wouldn't bring themselves to see it.
So ignorant.
And then they arrested him. It's ignorant, but it's like a lot of things in life. People, we don't like to surrender if maybe we're wrong. We don't like to submit.
It's an ego hit. No one wants to be pride, wrong, right?
No one does. And especially when you've got this sort of like that way of thinking about the world is so dominant. How do you tell everyone, every scientist, you're wrong? Like, what kind of balls do you got? Like Galileo saying to everyone,
I think that's part of being a scientist,
hey, world,
is you should accept evidence as evidence and question everything.
You should.
Question everything universally and be like, let's learn and question everything.
But people don't.
Let's not be short-sighted. Let's not just have our own like predefined beliefs and that's it. And let's confirmation.
But that's not how people are.
I know, it's an ideal, right? But it's still something that I think should be reinforced of just question everything. And have that thirst for knowledge, right? Always learning. Autodidact for life. You know what I'm saying? We should get tattoos.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I love it. ADFL.
You want to get dinosaur tattoos? I'm going to get Stegosaurus.
Okay, you do that, man.
Dude.
I don't know. I've never thought of the dino tattoo.
No?
No.
I mean, I guess me either. Same. Holy crap. Well, we're at an hour-ish. Is there anything else you want to add? We can wrap it up. We got to do this more often. This isn't the second time you've been on. What'd you say?
I could do this all day, man.
Well,
we didn't even talk about geology.
So, yeah. Anything else you want to add? Obviously, check out all of Chris's videos, NESComplex on YouTube. There's
where I
links
don't
in the
talk about
description.
science at all.
Yeah, he doesn't talk about it. But while you're watching him talk about freaking Bubsy, what's that game?
Bubsy.
Bubsy.
Glover.
While you're watching him talk about Glover, just think this dude knows a lot of interesting stuff. And he'll tell you if the game's fun or not. Boom.
Maybe I'll make a Science Complex spin-off channel.
Dude, that would be great. Or just do these podcasts with me because it was super interesting. I'm all jazzed up. I want to read about this stuff all day tomorrow at work.
Do it.
And people will be like, what are you doing, Greg? And I'm looking at Dinosaurs pictures. I'll be like, I'm researching network stuff.
Because right now our network is, it's like a dinosaur.
It's like a dinosaur.
Gotta move ahead.
Yeah, loops. Our spanning tree is effed, bros. Anyway.
Yeah, check out Greg Hansen podcast.
That's good. That's meta.
It's pretty good.
So meta.
Is it? I don't think someone, by the time they're done listening to this, I don't think they'll listen to it.
You don't think they'll listen this far? So we should leave it.
No, by the time they get to this, they're not going to listen to this show ever.
Again? You think?
No.
What? What do you mean?
You know exactly what I mean. It's not impossible.
True. It is definitely probable. Well, dude, thanks for
there you go.
talking. Let's hit stop record and say bye to thanks for listening, everybody. And tweet me at Arcade Impossible with any feedback. And I'm on the Facebook too, and NESComplex is on the Twitter. Yeah?
All
You want
right.
to pimp anything else out?
It was real. No, I'm good.
Cool. Okay, buddy. See you later.
All right. Bye.